A very warm welcome to today's graduation ceremony of the Erasmus Mundus program, the European Master of Global Studies. It's a great pleasure for me personally to have the privilege to open this ceremony, as this is going to be a huge and important step for you in your life, for you personally, and also a big honor and a privilege for us as university. The University of Vienna is very proud to be part of this program, to be part of this very international, very successful program that has been lasting now for so long. I just tell you a little bit, some details about the University of Vienna. Some of you know it well because you've spent some time here. Others have spent time in other places. The University of Vienna is founded in 1365 by Duke Rudolf IV, and is therefore one of the oldest and also one of the biggest universities in all Europe. From a population of almost 2 million living in Vienna today, more than 10% from 130 different nations are enrolled as students in Vienna. Today, about 89,000 students study at the University of Vienna, and about 28,000 of them are international students, as you are, which means like 30% of all students enrolled in this university. Also interesting, 63% of all students enrolled here at the university nowadays are female. And approximately 10,000 students complete their studies as you do today every year. So today is your day, and as the University of Vienna and as the faculty for historical and cultural studies, we are very proud to be the place where we can celebrate that day. This university consists of 15 faculties, and as you have studied in an interdisciplinary program, you also have had courses at different faculties. Also not only at the historical and cultural studies, but also at the philological and cultural studies faculty or the social science faculty. Vienna is also very proud to be one of the universities that have among the first really built a research priority program focused on global studies. So global history has a long tradition in Vienna, and it's also thanks to this program that is coordinated by Leipzig for many years so successfully that this connection for an international global history has come about. For me as a teacher, as a university teacher here in Vienna, it has always been a privilege to teach these classes of the Erasmus Mundus. I came to Vienna about more than 4 years ago, and from the beginning, these were the classes I really enjoyed, to have so many critical voices with really global biographies, thinking, like being really committed to their studies and having a reason to be there. And for me, it has always been something like an eye-opener to teach you in these classes and have these different perspectives on the questions of research we tackle. So, in the name of the University of Vienna, I'm happy to open this ceremony now for you today, and I hope it's going to be a very long and lively night.
A very good afternoon. Welcome to all of you, all our still students, but soon graduates, friends and family, colleagues from different universities. A warm welcome also from my side. You might have noticed already that I'm kind of the ceremony master today. My name is Martina Kaller. I'm a member of the team who coordinates the master's program, the Erasmus Mundus Master's Global Study, here in Vienna. Actually, at the moment, I'm the academic director or local coordinator of this program. And I'm very happy and also very proud that you all came here and are attending this ceremony, which we do not do every year. Our turn is every 5 to 6 years, so whether or not you feel lucky, you will graduate here at the University of Vienna. This program was founded 17 years ago. My colleague Juliane Schiel already had mentioned it. Vienna was part of it from the very beginning. We were 3 professors. 2 of them already retired. Unfortunately, they cannot be with us today for very important reasons. For instance, their book launch. So Maggie Grantner and Andrea Komnoschi are sending you their best wishes. And we also, in this moment, I also want to thank them very much for the last 17 years that we did that job together. Okay, I'm Martina Kaller, I'm the director. What am I doing here? I'm representing the University of Vienna in the consortium. That means among all, or together with all these other university places, namely 5. And on the other hand, I'm representing the program together with my colleague Juliane Schiel here at the University of Vienna. That's what an academic local coordinator does. But this program never ever could be run without all the people who are not so visible maybe in this moment, but more important than anybody else for our students, and these are the operating administrators. And I would like to name and also to ask Birgit Kaiserländer to stand up and make yourself seen. She is the very person who works for you. Who's working for you on a daily basis as our colleagues who are coordinating the whole consortium, the whole program from Leipzig. And I'm very happy that this evening Constanze Klemm and Stefan Kaschner are here with us. Please stand up so that everybody can see you. Thank you so much. These are the very persons who make it your program. And last but not least, I want to mention that also the organization of today's ceremony, as well as the graduate conference yesterday, we did here as a team. And I was very, very fortunate to have Marie-Christine Liebers on my side as our intern. Please, Marie, could you stand up? Thank you so much. Before I will go briefly again together with you to the program so that everybody knows what is expected, I want to make one more additional remarks to our almost graduate now. You know, there's so many opportunities in your life that you would celebrate. Most of them, you know, they're just coming and going, like your birthday, Christmas, whatever, yeah? All kinds of festivities which you certainly enjoy. There are very, very few celebrations in one's life that you yourself are giving to yourself, yeah? And that you made possible. So you're not only here in the center of our attention, we are also very happy that you did your job so that we can stand here together with family and friends. So this is the purpose of this celebration. The first step we already are done. With it, I will stay here behind in order to keep track with this ceremony. The first point you already had with our welcome addresses. Now comes the session with the photo show. It's called We Will Miss It. And I hope you know who is going to present first. So I can read it. So first comes Vai Chu Starichan to present, then Annika Maurer, then Diego Groff, Danuta Grusak, Malika Basarova, Francine Martin, Nasrullah Ali, and last but not least, Natasha Otlan Ervila. So please, floor is yours. Sitzen einfach da hinten. So please, come here.
Sound.com. bensound.com.
Ghent is one of the most vibrant student cities. Legend says, once the city elevated the tax on beer and the students occupied a city castle until the beer prices were restored. This spirit still lives today in the beautiful Belgian city.
My name is Song.
So as they say. Arriving in September 2020 to Ghent, 3 weeks before the October to April lockdown, we listened to the young students party until 3 a.m. cafe next to the dorms in the Belgian-wide famous party street Overpoort, and we even saw a few bars ourselves. After that, we could only learn from stories what an amazing student life the city used to have. This idea made us dream through the intense study sessions in our rooms while having all social facilities, canteens, study rooms, libraries locked off for most of the first semester. The classes in Ghent were insightful, but also connected to a lot of deadlines, and politics of conflict is not really uplifting in long lockdown nights. However, and maybe because of the lack of distraction, we engaged fully with the content of our classes, and global studies gave us topics to talk about when there was nothing to gossip about. We might not have agreed with all of our professors, or reading contents or classes. Nonetheless, and especially then, all of them sparked an interesting discussion among our cohort
and we engaged in global study critical thinking, especially how to further de-Westernize and decolonize curricula to include different perspectives and maybe become truly global. I want to specifically honor those who did the program in lockdown while their family back home faced the impacts of COVID by death or their economic implications. And also those who were working a second job and were doing extra projects, those who were getting up at 3 a.m. to have some meetings in a different time zone before the start of classes and missing out of all of social life because of work. 2020-2021 has not been an easy year, and I'm impressed by your ability to push through. I'm not gonna show names, but if you feel addressed, this applies to you. I would like to honor you with a different award. I want to honor you with the Bravery Award for studying when it wasn't easy, for studying when worrying about home, for continuing in bad and on very bad days, and for still giving your possible best for completing this master program. When I try to explain global studies to others, I describe it as studies in social sciences related to globalization and global phenomena, but most of us, we learned transdisciplinary thinking and taking multiple perspectives. So, as global studies students, we obviously could not simply accept the status quo. So we used our collective intelligence to find solutions for socializing, despite the one-friend policy in the Belgian winter. Next to the dorms where 8 of us were stayed were some benches under a roof that could be used for hangouts, dinner parties, flunky ball, and Diwali celebrations. We organized our own virtual US election nights. Walks were also an option. Some people improved a lot on their biking, exploring the parks in Ghent. The study spaces welcomed us a lot in the second semester. Our new hobby was drinking tea and eating cookies in the study spaces and making studying a social activity. We wouldn't be global studies graduated if we wouldn't be making the best of each of our regional expertise and strength. We were obviously discussing a lot about the US and China, while some people might have been speaking a lot about Argentina. As soon as things started to open up, we started to explore Ghent by step, and we wanted to find advantage of having 1 year almost fully taught online. Half our cohort followed the last week of classes together from our villa, Casa Pepe in Spain. Our year in Belgium ended with the Eurocup in full immersion into Belgian culture, fries, drinking beer, and supporting the Red Devils. Having to rethink our way of studying and adapting our study methods did lead to new experiences and possibilities. I want to finish by expressing gratitude for the whole cohort of Ghent, who, despite the pandemic, showed an amazing camaraderie, exploring our student city together and growing into a small family that accompanied each other.
Good afternoon, graduate, professor, friends, and family. My name is Dari, and I spent my second year in Ghent. Today is a very special day for all of us who gather here. This is not only the day that marks our end of academic journey as an EMGS students, but it's also a new beginning for us all. I congratulate you, graduate, for your academic accomplishments and being able to rise above the pandemic. This is an achievement we should all be proud of. Although we are trying to go back to normal, the pandemic has changed everyone's lives worldwide in many different ways. One of the ways that make this disaster a little bit meaningful to all of us, perhaps, is to practice self-reflection, to learn from the lessons and enrich our lives in the future. I believe that many of us will excel to take up important roles in government, international organizations, and NGOs. I invite you to remember the struggle we all struggle together and the hopelessness we all felt during the pandemic. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit too nervous. Please bear with me. My time in Ghent was a little special. Not only that I was a student, I was also working for the consortium. We took a little bit of distance from the student life, but I definitely had a great time with all of you. It all started with a nice welcome day organized by Julie. It was a fine sunny afternoon, but then of course it came in winter, windy and rainy. Another lockdown struck, but we managed to have a lot of fun, a lot of birthday parties, and lots of drinking. I wasn't sure to say that. Wearing a mask in the library study room was definitely not my favorite pastime, but many of you persisted. For that, I admire you. Among all the hard works and late nights in the library, we also have a really fun trip to Amsterdam, where we learned about how international organization works and how think tank produce knowledge for global activisms. And many of you show very great work in the seminar. At the same time, we had a lot of fun partying in Amsterdam. And after that, all the exam ends in June. We were focusing a lot in our master thesis. Having said that, I couldn't be more thankful for the opportunity I had during my study in Ghent, how smoothly everything went compared to my previous experience. I wanted to take this chance to thank Julie, Marissa, and Eric, who is here with us tonight. Yeah, over there. On behalf of all the students who are studying in Ghent, their excellent work ensure every student to have a chance to shine. Ghent University also had done an amazing job taking care of all the international students by offering support services, organizing events for all of us. The efforts they put in making us feel home in Ghent is remarkable. Also, the city of Ghent probably has the friendliest immigration officer who genuinely wants to help the people. All of these things make my stay in Ghent perfect. Finally, a special tribute to all the non-European students, especially those who couldn't be with us tonight. Moving away from home is not easy. Moving across continents is even more challenging. I know it all too well, the endless paperwork for the visa application, the financial burden, the feeling of uncertainty, when nobody understands you with your language expression or your traditions. But we all manage to pull this through, and we make amazing friends. So thank you for never giving up, no matter how difficult it was. And thank you for putting a smile on your face all these times. Please recognize your strength and be confident. We will turn this program a truly global studies. I would like to close this speech by sharing a few phrases that guide me through life. Learn to appreciate what you have is enough, and it's okay to feel bad sometimes. It's also okay to ask for help. Generosity means you're able, so be happy that you're able. Dream big and be kind. These are all easily said than done, but we could certainly work on being kinder. Once again, congratulations, class of 2022. I wish you great happiness.
Before I start, I would like to ask everyone to look up. I think everyone should appreciate how beautiful a room we are right now. Really. Good afternoon, everyone. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces here, some of which I had shared many memories with, either in Ghent or in Leipzig. Some of these familiar faces I have never met before in person. Such was the nature of our first year in our program. My first year in Leipzig. The difficulty of distance from our families, as many of us left home for the first time, daring to move to a foreign country amidst a global pandemic, and the distance from our professors, from our peers, and our potential new friends sitting across from us on our laptop screens. The mental toll was immeasurable, yet I can confidently say that as a group, we did the best we could. Here we sit as proof of our collective and individual successes. Our quotidian was the same, week in and week out, hours spent in front of our laptop screens, attending our lectures on Zoom, reading articles, completing our assignments. If it weren't for the support I received from other students, the incredible experience I had in Leipzig, but the start of our program was marked by global events that continue to define our generation. whether it was unveiling of Europe's ever-present fascist face, the genocide in Ethiopia, the famine in Yemen, or the acceleration of Zionist colonization of Palestine. The complex transnational issues we face seem to grow daily, and the more we learn, the greater our problems seem. Yet in education, we may find possible solutions to our questions. As my compatriot Paulo Freire once said, a liberating education consists in acts of cognition, not transfers of information. And it was through the co-construction of collective knowledge with the students in this room that we chose an education of freedom, not conformity. This is what Leipzig offered me. Look around you. How many countries do you see represented here today? How many miles have we collectively traveled? This is the fabric of global studies and the power of learning together. It was courses like global history, populism, perspectives from the global south, and indigeneity and Europeanization that I became sensitized to the profound histories behind the class struggles I have always admired, the indigenous movements which continue to fight their colonizers, and the sickening discourse of fascist leaders worldwide. I was delighted to be able to pick and choose between regions and themes, carefully building an interdisciplinary toolkit that made me feel ever more prepared to tackle the existential issues that haunt our generation. Yet one of the biggest lessons I've learned has been outside the classroom. How to win at flunkyball. No, I'm just kidding. The truly most important thing has been to master chugging half-liter German beers and riding my bike drunk. Mom, Dad, I'm just kidding. I always wear my helmet. Jokes aside, truly, one of the most valuable things I've learned during my time in Leipzig is that real generosity towards the future lies in giving all to the present, and how camaraderie, collective action, compassion, and courage trump all. Also, that the only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. As I carry these personal and academic lessons with me, I cannot help but be nostalgic for the wonderful city that proportioned me a social life, an education, and the basis for my own political radicalization. I learned during my year in Leipzig to cherish the moments I spent with others and value the value of making new friends that come from different cultures and backgrounds. Despite not having been able to attend summer and winter school, as you've just seen, many of us were nevertheless able to connect through different means. And in a way, the fact that we were so confined to our rooms and laptop screens, we made greater efforts to become so closer physically. For some of us, it was the only way to connect with others, to build a community, and to share our moments of sorrow and of happiness. I have to admit, I may have broken the German laws limiting physical contacts, but it was for a good reason. I was always searching for study groups, or perhaps it was the several clandestine parties we had in my flat. I digress. I do not wish to focus on my extrajudicial confessions, but rather on the love I felt sharing such beautiful moments of my life with such wonderful people. I have to thank everyone in this room for being a part of some of the greatest years of my life. I would like to end with a quote that sums up a personal philosophy of mine, which became so clear during my year in Leipzig, due to the widespread tragedy and death to COVID and the countless conflicts in the world, but also some personal health issues which I had to deal with. Death doesn't lie off in a distance. It's with us right now. It's a second hand on the clock. It's the setting sun. As the arrow of time moves, death follows, claiming every moment that has passed. What all we do about it? The answer is live. Live while you can. Put nothing off. Leave nothing unfinished. Seize it while you can. Seize it while it still belongs to us. Once you properly realize that life is absurd, and perhaps you're on the verge of despair, but you're also compelled to live life more intensely. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will try to make this speech brief, but maybe not as brief as the last 2 years might have felt. For those who don't know me, my name is Dani, and maybe we haven't been in the same breakout room together on the Zoom events, but I completed our master's in 3 different universities. The first was with London School of Economics, the second University of California, Santa Barbara, and then I've been lucky to arrive at the University of Vienna. No wonder I frequently get the question, so what are you studying again? And I'm sure some of you have also heard it. Thinking back to my time at the LSE, where I got this question most often, as master degrees in the UK usually last just 1 year, I'm going back to very many fond memories of my time in London. LSE was everything and even more than a younger, knowledge-hungry me would have ever hoped for. And also never before have I met so many talented and ambitious students coming from all backgrounds, from all over the world. But I've also never seen so many bright minds struggle mentally, confined in their rooms in the never-ending lockdowns that the UK has experienced the year I spent there. Hence, the theme of our journey at the LSE was definitely a challenge, both positive and negative. We have all grown academically, personally, and professionally, but this growth did not come without great efforts. Content-wise, of course, the quality of teaching and reading has been really high, and the expectations were really quite up there. And a lot of the time in our rooms was actually spent just drowning in readings. UK academic culture also taught us that there isn't a single right answer. There are very many good questions to ask. And at this point, I probably didn't imagine that I would be grateful for all the learning and unlearning of a million new things in just this short span of a year, and then doing it again, both in the US and Austria. And today, I would like to say special thank you for those who made this journey happen. I'm very grateful for academics and staff of the LSE who supported and encouraged us, the entire economic history department, special thanks to Tracy, who made this experience smooth and problems encountered less overwhelming. Also big thanks to Titankim for never-ending understanding and empathy, and Patrick, who always listened to what students had to say. I'm personally also thankful for my colleagues at LSE Students' Union, where I worked through my time at the LSE and beyond, with whom I could challenge some of the existing policies and old rules at the LSE that made this experience more inclusive and fair for all the students, current and future LSE students. I'm also thankful I found some amazing flatmates, 3 incredible women who have already graduated LSE and are changing the world. They accompanied me in all lockdown breakdowns, long walks to Hampstead Heath, and cooking our daily dinners, to which I attribute my inability to cook meals that would feed less than 6 people at the time, and who also helped me create a home and community for many students from Economic History Department included. I'm also grateful for all of you here, all of the graduates of our EMGS cohort that have pulled through really difficult times. You are a really important and impressive bunch of people, and it was a pleasure to interact with you. Lastly, I'm also thankful to all staff and professors of all the universities involved, especially the never-ending support on my anxiety-driven last-minute submissions, especially to both of my thesis supervisors, Patrick and Julian. And yeah, the LSE allowed all of us the privilege to pursue our dreams, and I hope we'll be able to give back to the community of this program and beyond. A warm congratulations to all of you, and we have made it to this point, and there are far better things ahead. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I thought there was one more person before me. Excuse me. Hello, my name is Francine. I'm here to talk about a bit of University of Vienna and my experience, despite of this beautiful and charming and stunning infrastructure that we have just seen a few minutes ago. I remember when I arrived here in Vienna, the first thing I wanted to do is to visit the university and see how it looks like, and I got so surprised about this building. It just looked like the beauties of Hogwarts from Harry Potter. Yeah, and what about those busts that we can see outside, the structures? Yeah, I was thinking about back in time, how would it be in studying here and representing a long time ago. Yeah, I was just feeling proud of being part of this story, and I think all of you should be, just like I was imagining in that time how it would be to study with my friends in my first week, and we were sitting on those lounge chairs outside, they just put in the middle of the garden. And I was imagining how it would be in classes, and that's exactly how it happened. I was sitting there with my friends, my colleagues, studying and preparing for the classes and presentations of Professor Adelmeier presentations, and also for Cybernetic Revolution. I don't know how many times we had to sit together to study for Cybernetic Revolution of Professor Andrea Komlossi. And also for the challenging classes of negotiation patterns that we had to sit together and watch the videos in accelerated mode so we can have some more fun. And also the challenging classes of international law, and we had to understand how use of force makes sense. That was a bit challenging also, very challenging. And very, yeah. And also the hot conversations and very interesting conversations we had about indigenous studies with Professor Henne Cooper, and also the classes about Black Death with Julianne Schill. That was very interesting. Thank you for all of this. So, yeah, all I can say, that was a very, very interesting program. We thank you for all this effort and for this whole program. That was a very interesting experience. I got, despite us studying a lot and trying hard, I got very surprised once during in class. We were invited during the whole class to have a glass of wine after class from Professor Adelmeier, and that was very surprising, and the first time we see how human the professors are and how we can reach that, and we had a very good time afterwards. That became somehow a rule after class. Every after class we had to sit together and have a glass of wine and have very interesting conversations. Yeah, that was very interesting, and I would just have to thank for all the teachers, for the highly renowned teachers we have here, and well prepared, because if you can see around our class, everyone of here is from a different country, from a different culture, and we have different backgrounds too. So to pass the knowledge that they have to different cultures, that's very, very challenging. So I have to thank you for this challenge also. Thank you to all EMGS teachers. I just missed a bit more about Latin America, but that's another conversation. Yeah, I can say that coming from Brazil was not easy to be here, as my colleagues already mentioned, but it was very, very challenging. My first year was supposed to be in Wrocław in Poland, and I had to watch everything online. And that was not easy, actually. I had to wake up at 3 a.m. and watch the classes online with camera on, no yawning, no tired face. At 3 a.m., that was because my visa was not issued and my flight tickets were canceled. So yeah, we had a lot of challenge times. And I thought that coming to Vienna would be a bit easier. That was actually a mistake. In Vienna, we continued to watch the classes online in the beginning, of course, but I can say that the bureaucracy in Vienna is a bit scary. It's very challenging, and maybe it's something that we have to improve, but I can say that we had a very good ally here in Vienna, someone that I wish I could have the patience, the commitment, and the resilience of Birgit and Kaiserlena. Yeah, because I guess there is no one here from Vienna that haven't sent her at least 5 emails asking something, and she always replied very quickly and very well explained. So thank you, Birgit, for all this, and thank you for all the persons or the teachers that helped us during this pandemic time. that was very nice. Last but not least, kind of paraphrasing Snoop Dogg, I want to thank me no, for doing all this good effort, for believing in me. No, I'm joking. Well, despite of thanking, of course, all the friends and family, we have to thank all of you, all of us who are here, because we came here, we were alone, we arrived here in a different place, coming from very distant area, and we found each other, we supported each other like a family. We were here to understand each other, every culture. And yeah, I think now the world is small for us, because if you can see, everyone here is coming from a different place, and now we own the world. So let's keep this world in peace, okay? And I hope when this ceremony ends, we keep this network alive, because that's what we are here, and I think that's what matters the most. Yeah, thank you.
Honorable guests, faculty members, and especially the graduates of class of 2022, a very good evening to all of you. Hola, bonjour, ni hao, guten tag, zdravo, privyet, and assalamu alaikum. That was a bit of me trying to be global. It's my great honor and privilege to stand before you to deliver this speech on behalf of the class of 2022 who spent one of their 2 years at the University of Wrocław. I'm grateful for this opportunity, and as I think of what I want to share with you today, I can't help but recall what has happened in the past 2 years. 2 years ago, most of us may have been worrying whether we will be able to go to start studying at our respective study places. We faced a lot of uncertainties, especially because of COVID-19, yet we managed to reach our universities. I can still clearly recall when I had no hope of starting my studies on time, as until last 6 hours before my flight to Wrocław, my visa decision was still pending. And a miracle happened, and just 4 hours before my flight, I got the call from the embassy that the visa has been issued and you can collect your passport, and I was very lucky. I can imagine that many of us, either sitting in this hall or attending this ceremony online, might have gone through similar situations, and I see Francine just shared that experience as well. I can still recall the excitement when we finally had our first face-to-face class and the eagerness to meet our classmates in person, but only a few days before COVID brought us back to the online platform. During our year in Wrocław, we learned together and with these great people from all over the world, and we made long-lasting friendships and sweet memories. And as we settled down in Wrocław, we recall thinking about our families and loved ones back home. We recall missing local foods in our country, which were difficult to cook there, since it was very difficult to find Pakistani spices. At the same time, I also remember when we found our circle of friends in Wrocław. We ate together, we studied together, we celebrated success together, and explored together, and last but not the least, we partied together in the student island. Then, in the latter part of the academic life, we recall sleepless nights because of theses, internships, and research reports, which we all had to go through. These are the day-to-day moments that have slowly molded us to becoming who we are 2 years fast forward to today. As we recall these fond memories, let's not forget those people who helped us all our way. With that, I would like to thank the consortium of the EMGS program for successfully running this program, which is indeed quite interdisciplinary and quite global in its nature. Therefore, besides giving the credit to all the professors with whom we had very fruitful class discussions, I would also like to thank the local coordinators of all the universities. Sometimes I think I have sent more emails to them than to my professors. and each time they have replied on time. Last but not the least, thanks to our families and friends both here and back home, they never fail to give their support and helping hand in times of need. Today, as I see our class here gathered in this hall, it's a proof that we have all succeeded. And with that, please allow me to say congratulations, my fellow graduates.
Hello, a little higher. It's really hard to come last after all this nice gossip we heard from all study places, and we got a taste of what it meant for us to be part of this amazing program. And so I was a bit nervous about what I was going to share with you, and then I decided to turn this into my last research project for this master's. So I had a research question to think about what I was going to say, and my research question is what it meant to be part of this program. What are the meanings behind being part of this program? First of all, I think we all here got first-hand experiences on housing crisis everywhere, believe me. Everywhere we went, probably was harder to find a flat, a room, than getting to this program. By the end of the first year, and I'm sorry for the ones that are in the audience, I'm kind of like more addressing my fellows here, but you probably heard all of these stories, but let me continue. By the end of the first year, we all were experts, I believe, in sentences such as, okay, I'm gonna share my screen now, or can someone tell me if there's a question in the chat because I can't see it? Or sending hashtags in the chat, or raising our virtual hand, and learning how to navigate that process. I think we already addressed before me coming here, but we were also experts in explaining all this, what this program is about. So explaining to people, yes, I've been in Leipzig for the first year, then I took a semester at this like non-European university, then I went to Canada, and then I was back to finish my studies in Ghent, and you can just change my name to your name, and then here we go, it's the full sentences explaining where we were, where we've been, and then getting the question, oh, so do you actually study, or you just like do tourism? And it's a bit of both, let's be honest. If you haven't thought about it, being part of this program also meant that we had to decide, oftentimes, if EMGS stands for European Masters in Global Studies, or Erasmus Mundus Masters in Global Studies. And if you haven't thought about it until this point, you're welcome. And you can be sure that you can use this both ways. If you're applying for a European job, use European Masters, of course. If you are going somewhere else, the Latin Erasmus Mundus, believe me, I think it's the best choice in that case. Forgive me about all these jokes. And on a deeper note, I think being part of this program was also living on a small paradox. We wanted to go, we applied to explore this world, to meet new people, to talk, to learn, to listen to one another. And we also had to tell our loved ones, some are here, some are online, Mom, that we wanted to do this, but we were also missing them, bearing this weight of saudades. In Portuguese, there's no translation, it's longing for the ones we love. And yet, deciding to keep going and to do this. And it didn't mean that we loved them less, that we love you less. But it's just this urge, and I know that a lot of us are continuing, and we don't know where is next. And we were filling the forms for our photos, and oh, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be living in the same place next year. And I believe this is our strength. We learned how to do this. We learned how to navigate this, and it's hard most of the times, but we did it together because we were together. And as this is a research it's objective, it's not subjective, whatever I'm telling here. No, that's not what they teach us, by the way. But I was trying to figure out what this diploma means to us, the ones that are getting it today or the ones that are getting it in a couple of months. I'm addressing everyone here. And then I found the headline, master's degrees are as common now as bachelor's. And this was related to a very particular context, a northern context. And I want to remind us all that this is not the reality of billions of people in this world. We are very privileged, and sometimes we tend to forget the value because it's a piece of paper, and the experiences we had are sometimes more valuable than the articles we read, than the things we wrote, and this learning process. But if I may, I'm not going to tell you what to do and how to feel about it. I am kind of telling, but let's not take it for granted. And this is very special. You are very special. And to finish this, I know we all want to go to the next and have our drinks. But I believe that this Masters brought an amazing crew together. And let's tell our friends, I know that we met a bunch just now, but the people we were together sitting next to each other, let's tell them what they meant to us. Let's remind each other of the meaning, what we learned from one another, because we might not see each other ever again. And I believe that bringing meaning and making these connections last, it's the best we can do for now. For those getting the degree now, congratulations, we made it. For those that still have a little bit to go, you can do it. Okay, you can do it. And congratulations, let's celebrate the family that is here, the families that are not, let's FaceTime with them, and yeah, that's it. Let's have fun.
Actually, there is one more speech from a RUC student. Hi, everyone. My name is Malika, and I studied in Vienna and in RUC. And I want to really thank the cohort and the people who run the program, because it was a great opportunity. I am extremely grateful for being a part of EMGS, because the moment when I got my acceptance letter, I was home, it was evening, and I was watching TV with my mom, and I was so lost, and I had no hope, and I was a bit getting tired of working, and I was on the wait list, so I was not really hoping that I will get, and it really changed a lot in my life, and I am so grateful. So despite some difficulties or challenges, it was so worth it, and I feel so grateful. And especially for discovering Denmark, because I should speak more about RUC. And I'm very grateful for discovering this country, because it's not like a country that you would think of going to study in Europe. The first country maybe would be France or Germany. And so for me as well. So I had no idea what Denmark is, and especially what RUC is. And it was such a discovery. It was such a great place. I am so happy to live now in Denmark, and I'm having studied in RUC. It's famous for, among Danish universities, RUC is famous for project work, and we work on projects, but for me RUC was special because it was a lot about helping students. We were like almost babysitted. We had so much help. I am so grateful because, I don't know, I was texting every day to study exam administration, and always so many support, just beyond the words. I'm so grateful. Also for RUC coordinators, Mikael Jorgensen, also Michael Kluth. But I also want to add a bit Vienna, because I did my first year in Vienna, and we only studied in this building for 1 month, and I feel that it's a huge loss, because it's such a beautiful place, and I always, when I was a kid, when I was imagining what university looks like, it was exactly Univien, and how classes were exactly Univien, and I was just enjoying every single day here. I couldn't wait. I was like so inspired. I was so happy because a lecture room, seriously, also looked like this. And then it stopped. And when I think of Univien, I feel like it's my alma mater. But at the same time, I feel like I didn't really spend enough time there, and it really makes me feel super sad because it's such a beautiful place to study. But nonetheless, I'm really happy to be a graduate student. And also, I came here because partially to meet my fellow colleagues, because to be honest, I haven't met most of them other than in summer and winter school. So I'm very happy to see you here tonight, and I hope that you will seize the most from this opportunity, and that your future career, like the best, is waiting ahead, and that EMGS would be a great trampoline for you. And yes, but it depends on what you're gonna do with it. So I wish you all the best. And no, seriously, like, don't laugh. I'm being serious. Like, I know that some of you really used it, and yeah, I hope all of us do. And I also really want to thank Birgit and Stefan and Constance, because they also helped me a lot. And I'm the kind of student who loves to email all the time. So I'm really thankful. Honestly, this is not like empty words. And I'm also really thankful for to my thesis coordinator, Ole Brun. He is a very, very kind person, because we met outside of Rook. We met on a holiday, so he was always welcome to have meetings with me, and I was always telling him, I'm so scared, and he was so helpful. He's a brilliant person. Yeah, and thank you, my friends from Rook, and it was very fun with you, and I'm so happy to have met you. Yeah, so thank you, everyone. It's been an amazing journey.
Thank you very much for these really exciting speeches, and yeah, a lot of thoughts, food for thoughts also for us. Thank you. I want to announce now our next speaker, who is Professor Dr. Matthias Midell. He's the director of the whole EMGS consortium, so he's kind of the head of all of these heads united this evening. Please, floor is yours.
Of course, the headache of all of you. So welcome tonight to this graduation ceremony. First of all, to you. We have just heard that this cohort was a special one, not being enrolled already before the first lockdown, but at the moment when we at the universities had already some experience with the lockdown. But you just came into this first phase when we all hoped perhaps that will be done soon, and it turned out to be a repeated experience. And of course it was not one lockdown, one global lockdown, but we learned that some countries were locked longer, other places in more difficult terms, etc. So this was really tough times for you, and I just heard the many experiences, yeah, finding jobs, finding flats, finding out of isolation. And that's the reason why I would like to address with these words of welcome also the families, the relatives, the friends who have joined us tonight, but who also are with you without being present here. They have, I assume, facilitated your participation in the program the one way or the other, stabilizing you morally, financially, culturally, and perhaps also receiving you back from this program in a changed mood. So many thanks to all the relatives who were supportive to this program. I have also to thank institution-wise the universities, all 5 of them. I'm now not addressing all the individual professors, administrators, coordinators, but you can be sure that behind your study experience there is a huge and complex structure helping you out when forms are lacking or issues are important. We have to thank the European Union, who supports this program very much financially and forces us also into this consortium to be full of a sense of jointness. Always forcing us not to fall back into national particularities and our own bureaucratic traditions, but to develop something that is in common. And of course, there were also supports by the various national and local governments. It was already mentioned that some colleagues with whom we started this program have already retired, others will retire soon. So this program is at a moment which you can characterize as a caesura. You can say, perhaps we went through it before it became even better. So there is a new generation now taking over at the various places, and at the same time, of course, we are confronted with the challenging question, is global studies still worth being studied? So for roughly 17 years, we were always confronted to the question, what is global studies? Students came and said, my grandma asked me and I was not able to give a very good answer. But at least you did in your wonderful application letters by saying, we would like to try to make the world a better place. So we were in line with globalization, supported by a widespread ideology that the world will become better by establishing more and more connectedness. That, and you experienced that during the pandemic, is perhaps no longer true. There are journalists earning their money with headlines like globalization comes to its end. So you will perhaps be confronted, and the next cohorts will be confronted with the question, global studies? Are you old-timers? Are you perhaps having studied at times which are now over? So here is the challenge, and I guess that is the moment when we have to hand over to a new generation to find good answers to these questions. I know that many of you have already given answers in your master thesis, very inspiring ones, and I hope that we will continue. I promise you this was my last word of welcome as head of the consortium, but I'm very happy that with Steffi Marung we will have a new coordinator of the program, and that all the places have already hired new professors and will continue, so that you can trust that the label Global Studies remains worth. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Matthias, for joining the group of the last Mohicans of Global Studies. So I want to invite now Professor Dr. Tirthankar Roy from the London School of Economics. He sent us a message which should be projected now, and that gives me also the opportunity to give you a big thanks to these technicians and also the employees here, because it's Saturday. We usually do not do this ceremonies on Saturday, and they all came here to do it for us, for you.
Hi, my name is Tirthankar Roy, and I represent the Department of Economic History, London School of Economics, which has been one of the founding partners of the EMGS program. I am sorry I cannot be physically present in today's graduation ceremony because of clashes with teaching and admin. This is a pity because the occasion is such a happy one, such a forward-looking one. It's also a pity because the last time I was here in 2019, Christmas lights and markets were coming on, and an evening in Vienna at this time of year was full of life. I'd love to feel that vibe again. I speak for my colleagues and everyone else gathered here today to congratulate you warmly on graduating at the end of a rewarding and a challenging program. If it has been a learning experience for you, the EMGS every year is a learning experience for us. Every year, it brings us in contact with a series of dissertation projects that make us think about the global in global history or studies in uniquely different ways. EMGS students come to the LSE usually with 1 year in another partner university, which brings in the possibility of a combination of methods, approaches, outlooks, and questions in ways that surprise us every time. But this is about you, not about us. Students from the program take into their career choices a unique and in-depth understanding of how cultures, societies, and countries compare and connect. The end of the pandemic should have been a time to feel cheerful, but the world faces new challenges. None of these challenges can be addressed effectively by national policies anymore. In whichever field you go, your expertise and outlook will be valued because EMGS is about interconnectedness, and that's what matters. If some of you move from here to a research career, it is quite likely that our paths will cross again. If not, our paths may still cross, and I and my colleagues will keenly look forward to those times. Congratulations again.
Thank you also for to our wonderful musicians for accompanying us here. We are now in the finals, almost done, but now comes the most exciting part of this ceremony, the fourth part. And this is the moment that my colleagues, first Klaas Dijkman from Roskilde University, will announce the best master thesis 2022. And afterwards, Erik van Houten from Ghent University, together with Magdalena she was Marek Musiat from University of Wrocław will award the best graduate 2022. As far as I understood, we kept that all secret, right? Nobody knows yet. That will create hopefully a lot of excitement and tension. And then after, we will do this graduation. Yeah, as we spoke outside, I will repeat how we're going to proceed. We have all the time in our life, okay? And this lasts before the last session or section. Then we again will listen to a music piece, the European anthem. I think that's a good choice for our situation. All European masters and at European universities. And then afterwards, I ask you to not leave the room, but immediately move to the other part here outside. Juliane, here or there? Kleine Festsaal. I'm really... I'm a perfect global studies person who never knows which direction to go. So that's the future, my dear colleagues. Thank you. So it's going to be this side. No, this side. So I guess you have to agree, Juliana and Marie. In this case, I believe Marie because she did most of this organization of the celebration. Thank you. So, anyway, Juliane, you're still new here, yeah? 4 years in Vienna is not enough to know this building, not at all. Okay, then the final musical piece, and then we will proceed to the reception with all your friends and families. You're all welcomed, all invited. This reception will last until about 8:45. Yeah, that is the moment when we kindly ask you to pick up your coats and your belongings from the wardrobe and then proceed outside the building because this building will be shut at 9:15. You always can get out of it. But it's a nightmare for us, for your Viennese colleagues here, that you could get lost. And you know the ones who studied here and the ones who made it to this große Festsaal today, they know what I'm saying. So please, and our graduates together with friends and families are also invited to the after parties. You're all informed. We will join you. I thank you for your attention. And now comes this very exciting part.
Dear students, dear family members, dear colleagues, and all other distinguished guests, it's again my unique pleasure to award the prizes for the best 3 master theses of the Erasmus Mundus, or I've learned European Master, Global Studies, what's a long name, master thesis thing, at least, 2020 to 2022. I've done this before and I really love this because, it's so lovely to, see happy faces. And there have been so many fine academic works submitted and nominated. We have 7 nominations, and they range from so relevant studies as those on feminist foreign policy, feminist tech, to matters of colonialism and football and skateboarding, so sports. It's a wide range. And I think also, if I can allow myself to say something, well, it may be also be relevant these days, I mean, where we're looking at tragic events in Ukraine or maybe some hopeful events probably in Iran, but also the upcoming Football World Cup that also somehow addresses some of these issues in a critical way. But let me now, let's say, introduce or mention the 7 nominated theses, and then I will proceed and reveal finally the very well kept secret who actually made it. So nominated are, and I will read the name and then the name of the thesis, which in some occasions is quite long. You've been quite good adapting to, let's say, academic lingo to make it very long and complicated. So, but some are very short. So David Baer, the City Football Group towards an imagined community of multifans. Irene González Mozano, EU Gap 3 and Feminist Foreign Policy, Challenges and Opportunities. Rachel Hamdoun, Dance with Indians, Pop Culture, Education and Contemporary Cultural Genocide in North America. Rasmus Göberg, Diplomats Making of Mali as a Space of Intervention. Annika Doreen Maurer, Germans in the Cameroons, a training requirement assessment for German expats in development organizations in Cameroon. Anna-Katharina Osterloh, Imagining Technological Futures, Transnational Feminist Tech and Data Activism as a Counter-Dynamic in Global Processes of Digitalization. Xenia Polishuk, The Contribution of Food Policy Council in Food Democracy. And the last, Paul Weibermann, Skate Locally, Think Globally, Exposing Multiple Geographies Within the Skateboarding Community. Yeah, and even though all master theses, of course, are quite inspiring, distinguished, excellent, otherwise they wouldn't have been nominated. There are, of course, a very distinguished committee composed of members of all universities have been chosen as the first 3 ones. I will start with number 3. Are you ready? Number 3, I will say the name, and then I will say a bit about it, and then I will ask the person to come up, please, to not only shake hands and get the diploma, but also to take a picture. Unique moment. So number 3, Anna-Katharina Osterloh. A second. And I will read from, let's say, the comments the committee made. It is a very innovative master thesis, both in conceptualization of the approach and methodology. It is well anchored in a number of theoretical and activist debates and provides a thorough analysis and a dense narrative. It's an excellent global studies thesis with a high level of engagement, thoroughness, and reflexivity and abstraction, and the thesis makes a contribution to the new field in the interface, and that's, I think it's quite interesting, interface of feminist studies and studies on digitalization. Well, congratulations. Now it's getting even more exciting. The winner is... Yeah. Maybe you think I'm getting a bit senile, and probably you're right. But actually we have 2 winners, because the committee couldn't agree on, let's say, they agreed on giving the same number of points to 2 theses. So it's a very unusual situation. And the first winner then is Rasmus Gödberg. And also let me here mention some of the comments the committee wrote down. The thesis excels in ambition, analytical rigor, and academic and policy relevance. It is an important contribution to policy making, and it describes how beliefs matter in foreign policy and intervention. And it is difficult, yet highly relevant to do this. And the thesis offers a well-researched and organized treatment in a conflict zone. Yeah. So let's go down there. And now, the last winner. Oh. The second best master thesis is the one from David Baer. And again, some comments from the committee of experts. The research is very substantially contextualized, using a wide range of literature. The narrative stands for quality and a promise for further research. So well done. It explores a new frontier with real replication possibilities, and it constitutes a mature and successful attempt to describe and analyze the process of formation and development of an imagined community in the world of global sport, basing on the case of the study of Manchester City football fans. Yeah, well done. And now we go on to the best master student. So my colleagues will do that. Give them a hand, please.
Dear students, families, colleagues, such a graduation ceremony is full of traditions, and one of the traditions is the prize for the best graduate student. Now, I always find it kind of an oxymoron, or maybe a pleonasm, or what you call it, like, how can you be the best? Because you are all the best. And, well, that's not just a compliment, it is. And I think, I know it from the conversation with my colleagues. We all teach in the program, but we do also teach in other university programs, and that the EMGS students, most of all, excel in their work, in the participation, in how they actively engage in the study. So it's a joy to work with you. And so that's the first thing I want to say. And the second thing, and it became so clear in all the testimonies we heard, that, well, among other things, you will be remembered, if you want it or not, as the Corona generation. And yeah, it's maybe not a compliment, but, well, it seems like something far away, but it's not. Actually, we don't know what the impact will be of all the experience of the one lockdown after the other, and reinventing ourselves, but reinventing education, reinventing the way we try to continue what you were planning to do the last 2 years, doing global studies, and actually the fact you are here, and we are in a physical space. wonder. Yeah, there were not many physical spaces. You had no physical winter and summer school. And well, yeah, so let's celebrate that. And as Diego said, take also a moment to look at the ceiling, but I see that they dim the light. It's such a wonderful thing. But yeah, so you did it, and that's the most wonderful thing. I want to stress. But well, there is a tradition of trying to find out who of you made the best performance, and the best performance is a quantitative one, is one measured in points. And we have a Leipzig system to calculate that. It's a very, I'm being told, very transparent system, but also a very secret system. Stefan can tell you all about it after buying him some beers. But actually, it's recalculating all your marks from the different universities to that famous German one, which the upper mark is, I learned, 1.0, which in Ghent is a very low mark, but anyway. It's, and yeah, a few of you made it to have this 1.0 final mark, and again, stressing not only the difficult circumstances in which you had to do your studies, but all of you also had to do exams in two very different contexts, at different study places. So achieving these marks is again something special. I really want to stress that for you all, and for the ones who made it to the 1.0 mark. So my colleague Magdalena from Wrocław will announce who is in this list, and I will give you the floor.
That's great pleasure and honor for me to do it today, and we can do it a bit similar as during the Oscar ceremony. So the prize, Best Graduate of the Year 2022, goes to Hanna Matthijs and Anna Osterlof. Congratulations.
A lot of paper for few of you, right? So far. Now we're gonna do the award of the diplomas, and we will proceed in the following way. I repeat it because you were quite excited outside, right? So we will always call 5 of you, so that gives you time to stand up. I will hand over the diploma, so you first approach me. Then you will get a little present, which is something very small, but very Viennese, and you know everything what Austria exports successfully is sweet and sticky. So it is also this Viennese sweetie that you're gonna get. But then comes the very moment that you will shake hand with Professor Schiel. And in this moment, when you had shaken her hand, then you are a graduate. So let's proceed, let's try our best. Okay. And as they couldn't make it, as so many friends and family did not, we are streaming this ceremony, and please, I will also mention their name, even though we cannot award them the diploma here, they will get it sent. So, Abduleva Kairyali, David Atif, Amela Pranjovic. Now you can see how hard that is when nobody helps me behind. Rebecca De Lucia, or De Lucia, Nadia Eckert, Rasilia Fatakhova, Marek Fenas, Rachel Hamdun, Wu Hayo Yu, Markus Loisel, Anna Lünig, Aaron Abel Malari, Jenny Laure Kedraogo, Mohamed Iqbal Özteker, Xenia Polishchuk, Dikshita Sharma, Josephine Snyder, Rebecca Toto, Lyubov Dugolukova, Frederick Walter, UN1. And everybody's name who I didn't spell correctly, I beg your pardon, but this is one of the hardest jobs in global studies. Thank you so much. I will try that out.